Hello everyone. I am Dr. Ina Gupta, Senior Consultant. Today in this video, I will talk about polycystic ovarian syndrome (PCOS) and its impact on infertility. See, PCOS is the most common endocrinological disorder which is seen in the women of reproductive age group, that is between 15 years to 40 years. We generally see in 10 to 15% of the women in this age group. So these patients, how do we diagnose PCOS patients? For diagnosis, there are 3 criteria, out of which if 2 are present, then we tell them that you have PCOS. So out of these, one is hyperandrogenism. That means the male hormone is excess in the body. So they can clinically present with excessive hair growth on body, or they may have excessive acne on their face or body also. Second, we can detect this hyperandrogenism or male hormone by doing some blood test also. The second criteria to diagnose PCOS is chronic anovulation. In this, the patient will not ovulate on her own every month, and her cycles will be irregular or delayed most of the times. So if the woman is not getting her periods every month and her periods are delayed for more than 35-40 days every month, then this is known as chronic anovulation, and this is one of the criteria to diagnose PCOS. Third criteria is when on ultrasound we see PCO morphology of the ovaries. So how do we say that these ovaries are polycystic on ultrasound? So if on ultrasound the volume of each ovary is more than 10 cc, if we can see multiple small follicles which are fluid-filled spaces which measure between 2 to 8 mm in diameter, and if they are more than 20 in each ovary, then we say that this woman has polycystic ovaries. So now out of these 3 criteria, if any girl or woman has 2 out of them, then we label that you are suffering from polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now, what is the reason to have this kind of polycystic ovarian syndrome? See, it is multifactorial. There is no specific reason that you can develop PCOS. It can be genetic. Some genes are involved in it, and sometimes if your mother or sister has PCOS, then you are more prone to have polycystic ovarian syndrome. It can be because of some environmental factors. The common amongst them is obesity. That means if your weight is more, or you have insulin resistance, or you are diabetic. So these are the common reasons, but there is no specific reason and there is no specific cause which we can treat or prevent, treat or we can give medicine so that you don't develop PCOS. Now coming to the symptoms of PCOS, as I mentioned in the diagnostic criteria, the symptoms are almost the same. First is that the girl or woman may have irregular periods. So she will not ovulate regularly, her periods will not come regularly, they will be delayed most of the time. So mostly these women have delayed periods. That means they come after 35-40 days every month, or sometimes even 3 to 6 months. Second is because of excess male hormone in the body. These girls and women may have excessive hair growth on their body, on their face, arms, legs, sometimes on tummy also sometimes. So this is one of the symptom. Second is they may have excessive acne on their face and body also sometimes. Third thing is that these patients, because of chronic anovulation, they will find difficulty in getting pregnant. So they may present with infertility. Next common symptom is that they may, later on in their life, they may develop chronic problems like diabetes, hypertension, coronary artery disease. They may be, they may gain weight, excessive weight, and they may become morbidly obese. Then because of chronic anovulation and endometrial hyperplasia throughout their reproductive age group, they are more prone to endometrial cancer or uterine cancer also. Last but not the least common symptom is that these women may undergo depression and may have mood swings and depressive symptoms also. This is generally because of their physical appearance, which can be because of obesity or excessive hair growth on their body or acne, and it can be because of infertility also. So these are the common symptoms because of PCOS. Now how do we how does it impact the fertility of a patient? So PCOS women, as I said, they do not get regular menstrual cycles. What does that mean? That means that they will not ovulate every month or on their own, or sometimes they do not ovulate at all. So that is the reason that these patients do not get pregnant easily. But they have many eggs in their body. It's just that these eggs do not mature on time on their own, and that's the reason that they don't get pregnant. That is the commonest reason in PCOS. So how do we treat these women who are unable to conceive, or who come to me that they have PCOS and they are not getting pregnant? So the most common first thing which I advise them is the lifestyle modification. So if the girl or woman is obese, they should reduce their weight. So by reducing their weight, their hormonal milieu may get balanced, and they may get regular menstrual cycle and ovulate on time, and they get pregnant naturally. So first thing is lifestyle modification, in which they should reduce their body weight if they are obese. So losing at least 10 to 15% of the body weight will help them. They can do this by both diet and exercise. They both go parallel, in hand to hand. It's not like that they are just doing exercise and not taking a control on their diet. They should do both the things simultaneously and consistently. Only then the effect will come. Now the second thing is, since they do not ovulate on their own, we give them some medicines. Sometimes these are just simple oral medications which help them to ovulate. If the oral medicines do not help, then we may have to add some hormonal injections so that they can ovulate every month. So these are the common treatment options. Now if after lifestyle modification and ovulation induction medicines or injections also the patient is not able to get pregnant, then we may have to go for further assisted techniques, like sometimes we try intrauterine insemination or IUI if the other things are normal. Then this can help them in conceiving. 70 to 75% of the patients do get pregnant easily with this simpler treatment, that is ovulation induction and lifestyle modification. If they do not get pregnant with this, then next option is either IUI, or if required, we may do laparoscopy for them to see if there is any other problem or not, or we can suggest them to go for ovarian drilling also if it is required, but it should be done very wisely. Last option is IVF. It is not like that IVF is the only treatment option in PCOS women. That is the last option. First thing. The other thing is, if the patient is not able to get pregnant despite all these treatment options which I discussed earlier, then only we advise them IVF. The other is the other set of patients where the patient have other problem, which is the indication for IVF and not just PCOS. So these indications can be if there is a problem in the male partner also. That means if his sperm count is low or motility is low, then we will obviously we will suggest them to go for IVF, because that is the main indication to go for IVF treatment, not the PCOS. Second, if the tubes are blocked, then obviously patient cannot conceive even after ovulation induction treatment. Third thing is, if patient has other problems, like if she also has endometriosis, which is the reason for infertility, then we may suggest them to go for IVF. Next is, if the age of the woman is more than 35 years. So we know that fertility of women decreases with age. So if the age is more than 35 years, then we will not waste time in doing simpler treatments. If after 6 months of simpler treatment patient is not able to conceive, then I will advise her to go for advanced treatment, that is IVF. Last is, if the couple has some genetic disorder which can be transmitted to their child, then to prevent the transmission of that particular genetic disorder in the child, we can do IVF, and we can test the embryos for that specific genetic disorder before they get pregnant. So thank you for watching this video.